Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for our Advisicon webinar series. The next webinar is about fundamental document control features in Microsoft SharePoint, all driving towards that idea of having a single source of truth. Truth is important in any kind of work, whether it might be just a number such as unit costs, shipping address, or date of delivery. It could be something a little more extensive, such as a policy, procedure, or process. Really, your team needs the facts. So we'll explore a few features in SharePoint that will help you build an infrastructure so that your team can thrive. Here at Advisicon, we have deep roots in project management. Everyone does projects, even if they're calling it programs, events, or just simply work. But they don't always use the best tools the right way for the job. Our mission is to deliver technology tools and training to help you maximize your impact, productivity, and purpose. A little bit more about your trainer today. My name is Sean, and I'm a project advisor and a trainer with Advisicon. I do have a background in math education, and I have a PMP. My experience is implementing 365 as solutions for our clients. I am a Microsoft certified professional in Teams as well. I have a decade's worth of experience delivering training and instruction, and I'm a self-proclaimed semi-professional dad joke teller. So for example, they say a joke becomes a dad joke when it becomes apparent. I would say it's more like when it's all grown. Looking at today's agenda, we'll talk about that single source of truth and why you want to have that in your project management practice. We'll talk about the features such as approval workflow, views, and the check-in, check-out feature, and then we'll bring it all together in a summary. All right, let's talk about single source of truth. Here in this comic, we have a picture of a team meeting, and one of the individuals says to the team, "Don't worry, the numbers are good. I copied them myself." Whether it's a database or a document, a single source of truth is needed so that your team can be sure that the numbers are correct. What this individual did by copying the numbers actually makes them the single source of truth rather than the source documents themselves. But you want to have confidence in your team and the documents that you work with that they are the single source of truth. Implementing these features that we're about to show you in SharePoint will help be a guard and a gate to prevent the risk of possibly garbage in, because as they say, when you get garbage in, you get garbage out. And we're going to do this by turning on a few features, and they're just out of the box, easy to use features. So again, you can streamline your team's productivity so that they know that they're working with the single source. All right, let's talk about the approval workflow. The benefits of implementing this is that, again, you can gatekeep. As an administrator of your SharePoint site, you can say only documents can be put here if after they're reviewed. And yes, and then even as documents are being put forth for review, they are not yet visible to the team. So again, you really have a good balance, a good check control system, and it's all with out-of-the-box features with SharePoint. Also, as an administrator, I want to get an email notification to tell me that I need to go to the SharePoint site and review the documents, and I'll show you how to turn that on. At the bottom of the screen, you see the path on how to get there. I lay that out there for you to view, but I also demonstrate it right now. Okay, I'm here in the SharePoint site. I'm using Isaiah. I'm working as Isaiah. Isaiah wants to turn on these features. To do that, we'll go to the wheel, the cog, and we'll go to library settings. And again, you have to be in the document library to find library settings. And these are a little bit more advanced, so we look for the more library settings. Here on the left, we want the versioning settings. We want this first question of require content approval for submitted items. Do we want to approval for the items? Yes. Furthermore, if you drop down to the third item down here, who should see draft items? So again, I want my team to be sure that they're only working with approved documents. So only users who can approve items and the authors themselves should see the items. Great. So yes, and this selection, and we press OK. Now I'm back in the document library, and as Isaiah, I've actually uploaded a couple of documents already. So they're on their way to be notified to our administrator. But how did the administrator get the notification? We had to build that notification through this automate feature. And yes, these are built in. You don't need much configuration. You just need to point to whom you want to receive the email. I'm going to go to manage rules. Actually, let me back up. To the first time you're going to make it, you're going to create a rule. And here's where the 4 options you have right out of the box. I'm going to use when a new file is added, send an email to whom. Now I can use some of the features that are dynamically created when a file is added, but I can also specify someone. So even though I'm working as Isaiah, I can add the administrator as the email recipient. Okay, so that actually is already in place as I've previously created it. After you create it, you can even delete the rule if need be, or if the rule is no longer needed, you turn it off. Okay, so those documents have been uploaded. Let's jump over to the administrator's email to see the emails. Okay, here I am in the administrator email, and I see the 2 notifications that Isaiah added this file and this file. Great. If you click on the file properties, it'll do somewhat of a start to get you pointed in the right direction. I wish it actually would take you right to the document library. It actually takes you to the details of the document. But if you click on this link, it will point you straight to the documents. Great. Now I'm at the document library. I see that the approval status is pending, so I know which ones to look at. I could, when this document library grows more, I might even want to use one of the views, and we'll talk more about this in just a second, but I can use the approve reject items view to see it grouped by status. Okay, so after doing my due diligence and reviewing the documents, I can right click and say, is it approved or rejected? So I used more, approve or reject, and then you get this option. And you can make your choice right here with further comments. Great, there's our comments, and let's hit OK. Usually take a second for the SharePoint site to update. After it does, you'll notice that this document is now in the approved category, and the approval status reflects that with approver comments. Let's go back to Isaiah's view and see what does Isaiah see. Now again, Isaiah submitted those items, so Isaiah will see both, but Isaiah sees that this is approved. What does a third-party member see? Here I'm logged in as Miriam, and while there are 2 documents in the document library, Miriam will only see the 1 approved document. So again, as all the benefits that I previously mentioned, we gatekept the documents, only approved documents were visible to our team members, and an email notification was sent. All right, let's talk about views. Now, the benefit of creating your own custom view is that you get to arrange the items in a way that makes sense. Maybe you don't need to see all the columns. Maybe you want to see specific columns. Maybe you want to order them. The most important ones are to the left or to the right. You can even filter by, group by, or sort by the columns so that you get a custom view. The example we'll look at is, as the administrator, I only want to see the drafts needed for review. I don't need to see all items, just the ones needed for review. So for that, let's hop on back over to the SharePoint site. Here I am back in SharePoint, and I want to create a custom view. Let's first start with choosing the columns that I would like to have. I'm going to click on this add column. It's the shortest path in my opinion. And down here, I have the option to show or hide columns. I'm going to want to only choose certain columns. I want type that refers to if it's a Excel, Word, or PDF. Name, approval status, I do want, but I actually want it higher. I want it to be that high on the list, who modified it, who created it, and I don't need to know the modified by or the approver comments for this view. Again, I just want to see the drafts and specific information. But I might want to know file size. Maybe that's one way I'm gonna sort is if the file size is bigger, I'll work with that one first, for example. But again, just showing you that you can create columns and arrange them, and so that you can have a custom working view. I've applied it, and now I see only certain items. So that's one way to start. But I also would like, again, I'm seeing both pending and approved. I only want to see pending, so I'm going to filter. Here is the filter icon, and I'm going to say just show me pending items. Great. Now, if I wanted to group items, I could say by the type. I just click on the column header, and I can say group by type. That way, Excels will be with Excels, PDFs with PDFs, Word docs with Word docs. That's just an example. But again, how do you do that? You just click on the top column, and you say group by that. You can only group by one at a time. You can also sort by. So for example, I mentioned file size. Maybe I want to sort by the largest items will be seen at the top, or the smallest items will be seen at the top. Just again, some way to create the view that you want. So am I done? Well, no, this view is a modified of this named view. I want to save this as my own view. So I'm going to click on this drop down, and I'm going to click Save View As. This would be my recommendation. Create the view, then save it. We'll call this my draft reviews. I would suggest, since only I really benefit from this view, I'm not going to make it a public view. And save. Okay, did the save work? I look at the list and I see, yeah, I could see all documents. I could see approve, reject items, but I just want to see my draft reviews, and that's how you can create your own custom view. Again, the benefits are arranging the items in a way that makes sense to you. All right, moving on. Last feature I want to mention is the check-in, check-out feature. A little bit more about what this does is this allows documents to be updated in the background, meaning in a side view, in a side version, but allowing published documents to still be actively worked on in their current version. And other users won't see the updated version until it's published again. So again, that allows, again, your team to keep working, streamline, and not have to pause all work until the new version is published. At the bottom of the screen, you see the path there. We're going back into library settings. All right, let me demonstrate that. Okay, I'm back in SharePoint, and I'm going to go back to the library settings. There's second step and third. And again, fourth step to versioning settings. We've done this one before, the require content approval. I'm going to drop down all the way to here to require documents to be checked out before they can be edited. And I say yes. Again, that way, anything that is viewed, it has to be checked out. It has to be declared that this is now being edited so that only the current version is active and everyone's not seeing a working version. We'll go back to documents. And I want to look at this professional services business plan. It's been approved, but I want to look at it from a team member point of view. Here I am in Miriam's view, where Miriam just sees only approved documents. That's what happens if I just open this up. I've opened it up and notice that I can't do any edits, even though it is a Word document. Well, let's just turn on Edit Document then. After I click that, I get this error message that says you must check out this document before editing it. Okay, good to know. So how do I do that? Go back to the document library, click on these three dots, more options, and check out. You will notice that this icon is now added and indicating you check this item out, so now others cannot. When I open the document, now I see that I have editing capabilities, even reviewing capabilities. When I'm done making my edits, be sure to go back to the document library and again, check it in. You can put a comment, maybe indicate the update date. So the item is checked in, and now others can resume using it after my edits. All right, let's bring it all together in a summary. The main point we're driving for in this webinar is that you establish a single source of truth for your documents, that your team members can have confidence in knowing that the documents that they're using are the ones to be used. We looked at some built-in features right within SharePoint, such as an approval workflow, creating your own custom views, and then checking in, checking out your documents. Which one do you find beneficial? Which one will you start using today? Thank you again for watching this webinar. Please feel free to reach out with any questions, like or follow us on our social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We offer many free trainings in our online academy. You can access those by visiting advisicon.thinkific.com. For project managers, simply become a member of our Advisicon Academy to receive the code to redeem free PDUs. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.